Hello fellow Disnerds! I am here today with some pins, which are quickly becoming one of my favorite types of video to film. I was recently on YouTube, just sort of checking out different YouTubers, and I came across a new pin tag, which I hadn't seen before. And since I'm now on YouTube myself, I thought, you know, hey, I'm gonna do this pin tag. The pin tag is called With a Smile and a Song, and it was created by two different YouTubers who have awesome channels. TwinkleBellTerryn is one of them, and the other, I want to make sure I get the name right, is TheDisneySisters. And so they both have channels where they show pins and other stuff too on those channels. So definitely check them out. Thank you ladies for coming up with this pin tag, because I am really excited to share some of my pins with all of you out there. So the premise for this pin tag is that these ladies picked different Disney songs, and then they want you to show a pin that somehow connects with that song. So I've got my pins all laid out in front of me here, and we're gonna go through them, starting with the first song. And I'm really sorry if I sing terribly at any point during this video. I'm sure it'll happen, whether I wanted to or not, because Disney songs are just so contagious. So the first one is one of my favorite songs, which is You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan. And the pin category, I guess you could call it, is a heart-shaped pin. Now, I don't actually have any heart-shaped pins in my collection. I don't have a huge collection, and the things that I collect are mainly like Maleficent and villains and Disney park attractions, Sorcerer Mickey, things like that, sidekicks. So you don't often see a lot of hearts with those. Those heart-shaped pins I think tend to be more for like Disney princesses and things like that, which I don't collect. But it turns out that right now in my traders, I actually do have a heart-shaped pin, and that's what I'm going to show you. So here is the first pin. I hope that she focuses, because she is a really beautiful pin. So this is a Snow White pin, and I actually traded for this at the parks back in March. So I haven't had her for a trader for very long. I think it's a beautiful pin. I don't collect princesses, so I don't really, you know, I think she'll be better suited to someone else's collection. But you can see, even this, I don't know if it counts as a heart-shaped pin, because it's like a shield almost, but I think if her head wasn't there, she would be heart-shaped. So beautiful Snow White pin. So on to the second song, which is Kiss the Girl from Little Mermaid, and this one is your favorite Disney couple. So again, I don't really collect Disney princesses, so I don't have a lot of pins that are couples. Unfortunately, the villains don't really get to couple up. I don't know, Disney, maybe you should think about changing that and give us some villainy couples. But I do have one pin that I absolutely love, of the two stars of 101 Dalmatians. Well, some of the stars. So we have Pongo and Purdy, and I was obsessed with this movie when I was a kid. I wanted a Dalmatian so badly. I had a stuffed Dalmatian that I named Spot. So it was a real favorite of mine growing up, and I just think that these guys are such a cute little couple. I know that they're not human, but I think you can really see their love in the movie. So we're gonna move on to the third pin, the third song, and this is Everybody Wants to Be a Cat from the Aristocats. And of course, this is a cat pin. And again, I don't have a lot of cat pins in my collection. I don't collect Marie or Aristocats, but what I do have is some villain cats, of course. So here we have Cy and Am from Lady and the Tramp, and I don't know if you can see that. There's a lot of glare. There we go, maybe. I know they're like hardly in the movie at all, but I love the song, you know, the We Are Siamese, if you please. Boom, boom, boom. I just think that's such a great moment in that movie, and I love that they're kind of evil. They're like villain cats. So the next category, or the next song, is A dream is a wish your heart makes from Cinderella, and this is your Grail pin. So I actually don't really like to think in terms of Grail pins. I don't spend a lot of money on pins. I really enjoy trading in the parks and trading online. Most of all, I don't actually buy a lot of pins. Like, so far, all the pins I've showed you have been ones that I've traded for. They're not ones that I've actually purchased myself. And in all of the pins that I have here to show you today, I think I only have 2 that I bought myself, and I just don't tend to buy a lot of pins. So I have sort of approached this one a little bit differently. I do have a hidden Mickey lanyard, cast lanyard pin set that I've been trying to complete for a while. So the other pins in this set are what I'm considering my Grail pins right now. So here is one of them. And if you've been to the parks, you might recognize this guy. It's one of the spitting tiki statues in Adventureland. But I only have the 2 here that I'm showing you. So here's the second one. So these are the tiki statues, or they're pins of the tiki statues in Adventureland. And Adventureland is actually another one of my collections. So the other pins in that set are the sort of ones that I'm on the hunt for right now. So I'm gonna call that my Grail pins because I'm gonna be super happy when the set is complete, and I'll probably create a little shadow box and everything for them. The next song, one of my favorites, and from one of my favorite Disney movies, is Shiny from Moana. I told you I was gonna sing in this video, to be fair. So the ladies who came up with this, they said a pin with glitter. I don't have a lot of glitter pins in my collection, and the one that I was gonna use for the glitter pin for this category, I actually decided to use for a different category that you're gonna see in a minute. But I do have this really cool pin that has some rhinestones on it, which are very, very shiny. So this is my shiny pin. And this is one of my absolute favorite pins ever. It's Maleficent, and then there's like all these stars in the night sky. And the stars are like the gems. And it's like a constellation. I just think this is like the ultimate pin style. Like, I wish that they made more that were like this. It's just so beautiful. And Maleficent is my favorite character. She is a villain. She is my favorite, and she is my main collection. So I just love that pin, and I think it's very shiny. So next we have Ohana, or Welcome, the song from Lilo and Stitch. And this is a pin that reminds you of your family. So for me, I've actually chosen a pin that my husband gave to me as a gift on our Disney Moon back in 2015. So our love of Disney really started, I mean, I had been to Disney when I was a kid, and so I already had that experience, but my husband, his first trip was actually for our Disney Moon, and from that we have been going back every year. So this pin really, it makes me think of my husband and my marriage and that first trip that we took together. And it also features another one of my favorite characters that I think of as a sort of villain, but I guess in Pixar the villains aren't as clear cut. So this is Bruce, and there is a terrified little Dory and Marlin. So this, if you've seen the movie Finding Nemo, this is sort of after Bruce smells the blood and decides he's no longer going to be a vegetarian and that he's going to eat these tiny little fish. And I just love the face on Bruce here. He just looks so menacing. And he's like my favorite Pixar character. I just love Bruce, and I love his Australian accent. And if you're watching the vlogs, like when we go through the Finding Nemo ride at Epcot, you can hear me talk about Bruce. I just love him. He's so cool. And this is a pretty neat pin. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's like a pin on pin. So this part of the pin is actually attached separately. So it's got a really cool three-dimensional effect. All right, this brings us to our next song, which is Painting the Roses Red from Alice in Wonderland. Now, the category for this tag is a pin with flowers on it. I don't have any pins in my collection. or in my traders that has flowers on it. I also don't have any pins of characters named Flower, which was the suggestion that the Disney Sisters made in their pin tag, in the original one of this pin tag. So I had to get a little bit creative. I do have a pin to show you. So this is my attempt at a pin with flowers on it, and maybe, you know, it's open a little bit to interpretation. But this is one of the teacups, and it has these, what I'm choosing to interpret as flowers. So these little, some people might call them starbursts, but I'm choosing to think of them as flowers. And then also this pin represents the teacups, and the teacups of course are themed to Alice in Wonderland, which is the movie that Painting the Roses Red comes from. So I'm gonna say this is a success for this category. All right, next we have Be Our Guest. So from Beauty and the Beast, and the idea behind this is a pin for a park that you want to visit. Now, I think from watching the other folks who have done this pin tag, most people have been answering this with like an international park that they want to visit. And for me, I don't have any pins for any parks that I've never been to. So I don't have Disneyland Paris pins. I don't have any of the like Tokyo Disney pins or Shanghai or Hong Kong or anything like that. Again, like I said, I don't really buy pins, I trade for them, and you don't really see a lot of those types of pins in the parks. But if I had to say which park, international park I'd like to visit next, because I've already been to Disney World and Disneyland in California, the next park I'd like to visit is actually Disneyland Paris. I don't know if I'll ever get to the parks in Asia. I have a lot of allergies, and so traveling to places where I don't speak the language is a little intimidating for me, just not knowing if I'm going to be able to eat anything or, you know, safely order food. So we'll see what happens with international parks, but I think that Disneyland Paris is a real possibility. I do actually speak French, so that would be a place where I could still communicate my allergies. Anyway, back to the pin tag. So for this one, I decided to show you a Disneyland pin, which I absolutely love, because Disneyland is the next park that I want to get to that's not Disney World. This year we're going to Disney World, and so in 2018, and we've already been once this year in March, but next year in 2019, I would really like to get back to Disneyland. And so this is a pin that I actually purchased last year in April when we were in Disneyland, and it features Sorcerer Mickey, and as you can see, this one has some glitter in the year at the top there, and this was the one that I was going to originally use for my glitter pin. But I wanted to show it to you as the next park I want to visit, being Disneyland in California. All right, so now we are almost done. 2 more pins to show you, 2 more songs. So our next song is Everything is Honey from Winnie the Pooh, and this one is a food-related pin. This is a candy apple of Maleficent, and again, she's like my favorite character, my favorite villain, so of course I had to have a Maleficent candy apple in my collection. All right, we are almost at the end of our video. We have come to our final pin, and this one, as far as I know, is not a song, but it's just a saying that we hear at the parks all the time, which is, "It all started with a mouse." And of course, this is a pin featuring Mickey Mouse. And other than my Sorcerer Mickey collection, I don't have a lot of Mickey Mouse pins, and I've already showed you one of my Sorcerer Mickeys, so I wanted to pick a different Mickey pin. And this pin that I have is actually one of my favorites that I found when I was pin trading in Disneyland. And this is Mickey dressed up as the brave little tailor. And this was a Disney short created in 1938 based on what I think is a German fairy tale. And I just really like this pin because it's unique. It's something that you don't see every day. And I picked it for this too because, like, it's Mickey from 1938, which is only 10 years after Mickey Mouse was created. So it kind of harkens back to that original idea of Mickey and the fact that the whole parks and everything could never have existed if Mickey Mouse didn't exist. So there you have it. There are all of the pins that I have chosen for this awesome pin tag. And I really wanted to thank TwinkleBellTerryn and the Disney Sisters for starting this tag, and I want to thank the others who have posted this tag already too. I've watched all of them, and everyone's pins are so beautiful and so cool. And I know that typically in these tags, people tag other YouTubers to make a video like this, so I'm going to start with my fellow Canadian ladies, Cheryl and Katie from our Disney side. I'd love to see what you ladies can come up with for this tag, because I know you both have amazing pin collections. And finally, Becca from Disney Kitty. I know you've already been tagged once already by TwinkleBellTerryn, but I'm going to tag you again because you have so many incredible pins, and I just love watching your videos. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's have a conversation down in the comments. I'd love to know which was your favorite pin that I had, or what pins you might use if you were doing this tag. And yeah, until next time, have a great day.